Good evening. Welcome to the general session for USA Softball of Michigan. Just a reminder, as the announcement just indicated, this meeting is being recorded. So please, if you are not speaking for purposes of the meeting, make sure that you are muted. Because of the bandwidth issue that we often experience, unless presenting, please turn your camera off. And then if you need to speak, you can unmute yourself and turn your camera on if you would like to do that. Please make sure any comments that are made are appropriate, keeping safe sport in mind. And keep in mind that if you are not muted, we can also hear background noises and information. So appreciate you putting yourself on mute and adhering to the no cam policy for tonight. Ryan?
Okay, thanks, Ross. Good evening, everybody. We're glad that you're here, that you can share this virtual session with us. We would love to be in person, but I also looked at this yesterday and I said, you know, the good part is that if we are at this point now, I just saved you folks a bunch of money and gas to go and be in a spot. So that's a plus for us. Darren, our executive director, is on. He set this up for us. He is feeling a little bit under the weather. So he asked if he could speak first so he could go back and find something that is nice and cozy and snuggle up and get some extra rest. So I am going to turn this over to Darren now at this point. So Darren, it's all yours.
Thank you, Brian. Well, first and foremost, it is great to at least see some names and a few faces here or there. We really appreciate you being a part of this, and thank you to the Umpire staff for making all of these virtual sessions happen. I think it's been a very good thing for us, and I'm excited to see where it leads in the future. Just a couple of things to share with you. As you know, USA nationally made the decision not to print and supply rule books for local associations unless asked for and paid for by local associations. We went ahead and made the decision to purchase rule books for our umpires. Those should have been shipped already to the state office. I've not heard if they've gotten there as of yet. Every umpire will get an actual rule book. Our communities that we dealt with will definitely have the opportunity to utilize the digital rule book, which is already on the national website. It's actually a pretty slick thing and it works pretty good. For Parks and Rec directors like me, I'm kind of 50-50 with it. It's nice to have something in hand, but a lot of these Parks and Rec people don't necessarily get utilized by teams as they probably could or should. And we end up with many rule books in storage areas here or there. So we're going to see how this works out, but we're pretty excited about how this is going to be. Looks like Debbie just put in a chat that they did arrive, so we'll definitely get those out here in the not so distant future. The only other thing I wanted to share with you guys, there's two things actually, but the first thing is simply this. We are doing some things a lot differently than in years past. And one of the things that we're doing is trying to raise money for some of these items like rule books, score books, as an example. They're not doing score books either nationally. So we put together our own score book that we're going to be giving to our communities. We definitely have some sponsors that have already signed up and that are going to help pay for this. But quite frankly, if it weren't for myself, Debbie, and Scott Kelly, we wouldn't have a whole lot. I've put this challenge to several on the executive committee during the annual meeting. I put it out there, and I'm not going to mix words. I'm getting too frustrated to mix words on this anymore, but we've received little or no help from anybody on this issue. And I hesitate even going to you guys because you guys do a lot. You are, quite frankly, the pulse of this association, both statewide and nationally, as far as I'm concerned. You make us what we are. But I'm going to ask that if you have anybody that might be interested in having an ad placed in the scorebook, we have a package that has been put out several times, different categories from cover packages to quarter-inch ad space, stuff like that. And some opportunities within the Hall of Fame, within our digital magazine that's coming up, as well as sponsor boards for state championships and so forth. We feel like we have a pretty good package for sponsors to take advantage of. We do have some people that have already signed up for it, but I'd like to get a few more before we put this thing to bed. And I have probably about a week and a half to 2 weeks tops to get this taken care of. So if you guys have individuals, businesses, or people that you deal with that might be interested in advertising with us, this is going to go out to approximately 2,500 plus teams before it's all said and done, all over the state. And we feel it's going to be a real winner for us if we get this thing put together. So I'm asking for your help. Would love to have contacts if at all possible. And if everything works out okay, we're going to have ourselves a very slick resource before it's all said and done. So, and then lastly, just a reminder that
You want your camera on?
it continues to just.
Okay, I did.
Somebody's on the phone.
All right, thank you.
There we go. It continues to blow me away, just the caliber and the expectations of what it is to be a USA umpire, especially USA umpire of Michigan. I had I'm going to say the pleasure of joining your ranks for the first time in a while, umpiring this past year in our local leagues. And the clinics that I was able to be a part of, thank goodness I did those. Otherwise, there's no way I would have ever been ready. I so appreciate what you guys do, how you do it, the quality with which you take this on. I'm going to ask you to keep doing that and continue to strive for the highest levels that you can, because you make us better. It really is that simple. And I am so appreciative of you guys for being by far the most steady thing we have within our association. It is a challenge lately dealing with the national office and some of the things that go on with that. It is not easy. If we didn't have what we had, especially with the umpires, I don't know where we'd be. So I thank you guys. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And just keep doing what you're doing. If you have any questions, please feel free to connect with me when the opportunity presents itself. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the field very soon. Thank you.
Darren, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to turn this over to Ross now for hosting duties. And
Yep. Just
okay.
got to find him here a second.
All right.
Come on. All right, Ross is now the host.
All right. Ross, do you have my PowerPoint available? There we go. Thank you. Ross, if you can take it down to slide 4, please, before Darren leaves. We wanted to, this is something that we didn't recognize Darren earlier, but back in October, Darren was named the Michigan Recreation and Parks Association Fellowship Award that goes out through their program. And we would just like to thank Darren for everything that he does for our program and plus with the Michigan Recreation and Parks Association. So congratulations, Darren.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Now I'll go get some rest.
I'm going to try.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
see you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead and take it up to slide 2, I believe, Ross. So this is our umpire staff. Myself, David Schimpf, Ross Martin, Bob Covert. You will hear from all of us during this presentation. Go ahead, Ross. There are our district umpires staff. When I call off the district, if the district UIC is on here, please say hello. Mike Almack from Kalamazoo. No, Mike was on here earlier.
I'm on here, just had to get unmuted.
Okay. Michael Brown, are you on? Apparently not. Jim Connors. Don Newstead.
Here I am.
Craig Kuipers.
Here I am.
Nick Pulaski.
I'm here.
Joe Van Domlin. Andrew Gaden.
I'm here.
Brian Larson.
Present.
Mike Clark. Jason Jahaski.
Hello.
Jim Fratrakis. Dan Durgan.
Present.
Steve Allen.
Present.
And Ted Hagley. Okay, at this time, I would like to thank all the district UICs for being on this call also. Just recently in District 5, Marty Branch resigned from her position due to health reasons within her family. We are glad that Marty was able to help us out for the years that she did, and wish her and her family very much good health. And we hope to see her back on the field very soon this year. So also, if you want to flip the next slide there, Ross. Okay, and we introduced our executive director, Darren Dijstermar. The other person that is probably more important than all of us here is our executive director, Debbie Sherwood. She takes care of our office. If you have any questions in regard to registration, so forth, Debbie is the one to contact in the office. At this point, we'll go to the next one. Special guest, we have John Jonason on here from USA Softball Metro Detroit. He will be talking about some of his modules that he's put together this year for us, also to receive credit for our elective sessions. The official for kids are also having a meeting that they start in 45 minutes. Tri-Valley Umpire Association, top of the Minton Umpire Association, and the West Michigan Umpires Association also are part of them are being represented on this call also. I would like to take a moment of silence for the following people that have passed away in our umpire program. Also during this time, I would like to basically wish prayers and wishes to the people that have been basically affected by some of their family members passing away. Most recently, former state staff member Ron Welch lost his daughter, and Andrew Gaden, our District 13 umpire in chief, also his daughter passed away within the last couple months. We also have had some people that have had some health issues, Jerry Hansen and Bob Lawson, and I'm sure there are many more out there at this point that are struggling through health issues at this point. We just want to take a moment of prayers and our thoughts for those people. So at this moment, could we take a moment of silence for the people that have passed away? John Garrison from District 11, Jimmy Graham from District 13, Mike Ogden from District 4, Sky Carolyn from District 15, Tom Donkers from District 22, Steve Puckett from District 19. And if there's anybody else that I did not miss as far as an umpire that passed away in your district, please let me know at this point, and we will remember them also.
Chuck Hartman from District 2.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none, let's take a moment of silence now for our umpires that have passed away and the well wishes for our family members also at this time, and our thoughts and prayers. Let's take a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the next one. These are state clinic sessions that you see up on your screen right now. On the March 13th, we'll be dealing with, that should have been elite umpires. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. March 7th are the elite umpires. March 13th is slow pitch at 6 p.m. and at 7:30, we'll do the fast pitch and modified. We will be sending out links for these sessions through your district UICs, probably within a week before, if not sooner. If I can get Darren to post them sooner, we'll take care of it at that point. Okay, thank you. Ross. State clinic information. This has been passed out to the district UICs. Most of you should have received this. We are looking at having, to receive credit for state tournaments and at-large for nationals. You must attend 2 elective sessions and 2 mandatory sessions that we present. If you are an elite umpire or thinking about being an elite umpire, you will have 3 mandatory sessions to attend, as we have felt that over the past that our elite umpires are our future, and we need them to know what is expected from them. We figured we would have a special session for them. This is also open to everybody, but you just do not receive a credit for this one as being one of your mandatory sessions. Once again, all these are going to be viewed here live, and then they will be also put on our website so you can view at a later date. There for the people that are viewing this on the tape delayed. There are questions that will be on throughout the survey or the session that you will have to answer, and then we'll go back from, you'll have to get back to me, and we'll go through those questions as we receive them. Ross? We've also had, one of our umpires was given the Jerry Hansen Award of Excellence for association service. It's our own Andrew Gaden from District 13. Andrew has done a great job with hosting tournaments in the Davison area. And basically they came to him this year and they said they would like to host a modified tournament in Davison. And I'll paraphrase basically what Andrew said. I know nothing about modified, but Andrew put off a great tournament. In fact, the folks were talking about coming back there again. And once again, Andrew said, I know nothing about modified. So Andrew, congratulations on this award. Well deserved.
Thank you, Brian.
Before I put the screen up for the next one, the next award that we have is the Bill Humphrey Umpire Award of Excellence. This is chosen by the umpire staff. The umpire staff this year selected somebody that goes out of their way day in and day out to make our program a little bit stronger. They will travel across the state. They will travel even in their own backyard to help out at the last minute if needed. So for this year, Ross, may you? For this year, we selected Ed Michalski from District 6 as our Bill Humphrey Award of Excellence umpire. Ed, congratulations on this award.
Thank you.
And that's the shortest you ever hear Ed talk. Thanks, Ed. All right, Ross. This year we had 1 elite umpire that qualified for elite. We had 2 other ones that applied, but they did not meet all the requirements. Hopefully this year they will. But from District 11, our 2022 elite umpire is Ryan Roberts in the category of slow pitch. So Ryan is our newest member of a strong elite program that we have. Congratulations, Ryan, on this award.
Thank you.
We also had in 2021, our Hall of Fame class. The induction ceremony was in October. These are our latest members of our Hall of Fame: Steve Allen, Hartley Byers, Steve Johnke, and Viv Scoff. Congratulations to all of you. I believe 2 of you are on this call today. So congratulations and a well-deserved honor for all the members that were inducted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're watching this recorded session, there are questions throughout the presentation, as we also said. In order to receive credit to be considered an at-large umpire, you have to send the correct answers to myself, Brian Smith, at bsmithump@att.net. Go ahead, Ross. At this time, we have some special programs that we have throughout our state that basically are put on by our umpires. The first one that we have is the Special Olympics program that has been run, and I'm not even going to count how many years that we've had that Don Newstead's been in charge of this. But at this time, I would like Don to say a few words in regards to the Special Olympics program of Michigan. Don, it's all yours.
Good evening. Last year, after several date changes, we finally played on September 24th at the Canton Softball Center. I believe we only had 8 teams, which was way down, but COVID was not real good at that time. I'd like to thank Ed Michalski for being my assistant UIC. He was also one of the 9 umpires who participated. The others being Gary Evans, Rick Havercroft, Gary Turnbull, Dan Smith, Jerry Hoffman, Lars Schroeder, Andy McGill, and Marty Branch. And once again, another thank you to Ed for once again paying for our post tournament meal in the restaurant at Canton. That's always appreciated. This year, they've scheduled us for Friday, August 26th at Canton and Caledonia. Their plan last year was to split it into two, and that never happens. It got combined into one. They're going to try that again. The Friday date's kind of interesting. It makes it a little more challenging for recruiting umpires, but if anybody would like to work this tournament, just get in touch with me. I haven't started the recruiting for it yet, but I will soon. So thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Don. Also, we have every year we have the USA Softball Michigan Golf Outing. I believe Jamie's been running this for quite some time now. And at this point, Jamie, if you're not traveling and can speak, I will turn this over to you.
I don't know that he's on, Brian.
Okay. Oh, Jamie's not on. Okay, I will take care of that. It's usually the I know Gary's on. If Gary has any information, he can pass it too. But I believe it is the first Sunday past Memorial Day, or Labor Day, past Labor Day, first Sunday after Labor Day. And it is at Centennial Golf Course out in Grand Ledge. I know last year it was went over very well, and I'm sure that Jamie will be sending out information to that once again as it gets closer. So thank you. We'll move on from there.
So that'll be on September 11th against Centennial Acres, usually a 9 o'clock shotgun start. If you don't have a full team of 4, still let Jamie know that you're interested, and we will assemble teams on that day.
Thanks, Ross. Now at this time, I'm going to turn into our friends from Metro Detroit. The umpire in chief, John Jonason, has put together some modules. And before he goes into that, I'm going to remind all of you that if you do watch these modules, I do get information from John that says you watched them, and that does count towards your elective sessions for our requirements. The other thing is that John is going to be releasing a module very soon on game management. I watched it today. It goes over quite a bit of things on game management, and I did a very nice job with it. And without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to John if he's ready, and he can go from what's happening in Metro Detroit. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, we have again this year put together several new learning modules on several different subjects. And this is what our umpires are taking for not electives, but actually mandatory where we can. But we put the first one we put together, and many of you have seen it already, is the rule changes that involves the change in the pitching rule for fast pitch, with some videos that kind of help you understand the difference between a leap and a crow hop. I was thinking about that. I said there's a lot of coaches don't know, and there's probably a lot of umpires out there that also don't know and don't realize what is a leap and what is a crow hop. So that's on there. We've also done the entire umpire test for 2020. I split it up into 6 sections just to make it a little easier to take. One of the disadvantages of the software we're using is you can't stop it in the middle like you can with Safe Sport. So we try to keep the length of the tests and the length of the module to around 15 or 20 minutes where we can. We also have Rule 6A and 6C that talks about pitching for fast pitch and pitching for slow pitch. Those were distributed to our umpires this last week. We have Rule 1, Rule 3, Rule 4, Rule 5, Rule 7 and 8, and Rule 9 ready, or they're not all ready to go yet, but 2 of them are. 1 and 3 are ready to go. 4 and 5 and the others are still in process. Mind you, this takes a while to put this all together, and I depend on my staff, especially Bob Lawson and David Jakubowski, to kind of help with what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, help with the questions and the answers, and we all look at it and we try to make sure that we've got the right format for questions, and we're answering the right questions, and not leading people astray, giving you the correct answer. And it's key, because if you listen to this, you will learn something. Another thing that we've done, and I know Mike Almack, I think you were interested in this, the one umpire system, that is ready to go. I'll send it to you, Brian. And then if you want to distribute that to your folks, that'd be great. We also created one called Behind the Plate number 3. And that basically is more for the slow pitch umpire, behind the plate, trailing the runner, where to be, positioning to make a call. It's just a short little video with a few questions at the end. And then we're doing a fast pitch one for 2 umpire system, and then a slow pitch one for the 2 umpire system, so that there's no confusion between the 2. Those are in process, and they should be done in the next couple of weeks. And the big one is the game management. That one we just finished up a few days ago, actually. And Brian, the copy that you have is ready to distribute. If there's a mistake or any errors in there, we'll fix them as we go. But that should be ready to distribute. But that is a combination of information I've had over the years on game management, and basically it talks about you as the umpire, and you keeping control of yourself when everybody around you's lost control. So it helps you, and if you can keep control, I guarantee you the game will stay under control. But I've been involved in softball for over 30 years, and when I see the umpire get out of control because he's frustrated, or people are yanking at him and everything else, then all of a sudden the whole game starts to fall apart. So this helps you identify your own strengths and what you have to do to keep control of yourself, to keep control of the game. And then it talks about some other things too, like plate meeting and so on. So I think it's a good thing if you can listen to it. It's about a half hour long, and there are a few questions there. And a few things that we have coming are, I'm working on one. I don't know if I have it done for this year. It'll be angles and distances and parallel motion. And we've got to create our own videos and create our own graphics and so on. So that takes a little bit of time, but that's about it. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, or you can send me an email and I can let you know, or if you have any ideas for things that we can do, we're always open to doing this, and they're always available. And we think about continuous improvement by always making them better as we go. So with that, Brian, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thanks, John. I do have a couple of questions for you. One of them is, are you folks still having your schools live in-person schools this year?
Well, we lost both buildings, or both facilities, because one of them was a high school, and then they said that we could get in, and then they said, no, you can't get in now because we're only letting school people or school activities use the facility. And the other one was Novi, that needed the date that we had selected. So right now we are not having a mechanic school inside. We do plan on, if we have enough people interested, we are going to do some outdoor sessions when the weather changes.
Okay.
But right now that's tentative, and there's no date set yet.
John, we appreciate everything you've done for your program in Metro Detroit, and then taking and letting us share it with us. We appreciate that, and we appreciate all the hard work that you've done in doing this. So thank you so much for sharing.
Well, thank you. I enjoy doing it.
Okay, Ross. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ross. He has the new rules, and I will let him go through the slides for the new rules. It's all yours, Ross.
Change screens real quick. And while I'm doing that, just a reminder for those of you that have not yet put your name in the chat, please do so now to make sure that we capture your attendance so that you can get proper credit.
Hey, Brian, this is Matt. I got on late. I don't know. Did you mention the fact that District 11 is going to host another exam meeting on Tuesday?
I did not. I was going to send that information out after this meeting, but Matt, as long as you have started the process, go ahead and continue before Ross gets into the rule changes. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, I understand there was a mix up with the date last week. We initially had set it up for Monday, and then another invite got sent out for Tuesday. So we apologize if anybody got the wrong day, but we are going to have another session Tuesday, the 1st, starting at 7 o'clock, and it will be the same format. We're going to be using Kahoot. So if you have the Kahoot app on your phone, it'd be, be fun if you want to use that. You certainly don't have to, but we're going to go through the entire exam. Took us about 2 hours, so it is a lengthy meeting, but we do go through the entire exam question by question. We thought it was pretty good. We didn't have a large attendance because of the date mixed up, but hopefully if you are interested in going through the exam and you haven't had a chance, Tuesday would be a good opportunity for you to do that. So if you do send out the invite, Brian.
Yes, I will be doing that tonight. I didn't want to confuse anybody with today's meeting and so forth. So I'm waiting to send that out, and it'll be after tonight's meeting. It'll be
Perfect.
sent out.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Matt. Matt and
Everybody
whole
will
District
get
11
that.
staff that's on. Thank you for sharing your time and your videos with us also.
Yep.
Hey, Matt, will the session this Tuesday just be a continuation of where you left off last week?
No, we went through the whole entire exam last week,
Okay.
all 57 questions. So, yeah, so like I said, it took about 2 hours to go through the whole thing. So, if you're not prepared to do that, that's fine, but that's our plan.
Okay. So if a person attended last week, they wouldn't necessarily have to do it again this week.
No, exactly.
Okay, the 2022 softball rule changes, there's not a ton of them. Some of them was just a matter of housekeeping. So in Rule 3, Section 1D, we're deleting a sentence in there. It removes the requirement to use tape to secure the attachments to the grip. So if they are self-adhered, that is enough. The 12-inch fast pitch ball, they've changed the specifications of that, and you can see that in your rule book. But it just makes it consistent for USA Softball, NCAA, and Federation, so that they are the same ball that's being used. And this is effective next year in 2024. Rule 4, Section 1C, it's adding a letter D and E to the rule. It's allowing for an extra player so that in junior Olympic play, they'll be allowed to bat 10. And then the letter E allows you to use the DP Flex with the EP. So you're adding that additional participant to the game. And again, that's for junior Olympic girls. Changing the designation of base men to base player to make it gender non-specific. there's an additional section to the ADA rule that is going to allow an individual that is having a condition such as a diabetic event to deal with that situation so they can leave the game and be replaced without it requiring a substitution. So that would be a matter of the coach informing you, or even the player informing you of what's taking place. Then you would allow that temporary situation under the ADA rule to happen.
Ross, I need to interject there for a second, please.
Yes.
On this rule here, folks, it is supposed to be that the coaches are supposed to let us know prior to the game at the pregame meeting that they have a player with a disability that could be diabetic. If they do not, there is no penalty. So don't take that if they don't tell you before the game and we get into the 7th inning and all of a sudden a player has a diabetic event, then at that point we have to go with what they tell us, even though they didn't tell us prior to the game. So there's no penalty if they do not tell us prior to the game.
Okay, the next 3 rule changes are dealing with the JO game in regard to the time limit. So in 10 and under, 12 to 18U, as well as 16 and 18 gold, we're changing the time limit to 1 hour 40 minutes and finish the inning. It's removing the requirement to play 1 additional inning after the completion of the inning that it's in. So it's adding the time, it's adding 20 minutes on, but it's removing the requirement to play 1 additional inning after the expiration of that inning.
Hey, Ross.
Yes.
Apologies for interrupting, Brian. Going back to the DP Flex rule change, is that going to be for round robin play, championship play, or both?
For the rule play, that would be for both.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for everything, Jonathan. So yeah, no problem. Ross, one other thing is with this rule that we have for JO, will that affect our JO state tournaments? Did you get my question?
Oh, I didn't know you were asking me the question. I thought you were gonna make a
Yeah, I was
statement.
asking you, will it affect our JL state tournaments? Will this be anything different for us?
So the rules that we're presenting tonight are the rules that are different for USA Softball National Championship play. So our rule would remain the same. So where we stop the clock the last 5 minutes, that would remain in effect. So that's not covered by the national rule. That's just a state of Michigan rule. Okay, the big one for us this year is Rule 6A. For women's and JO girls, it's now allowing the push off and dragging the pivot foot in contact. So you can use that method, or they're now allowed to have both feet in the air. So it's similar to the to men's play. It's what we had years ago. Now we've reverted back. And we understand that NCAA play and possibly even Federation would be going to this in the future. But USA Softball is leading the drive for this change.
I can tell you that within 2 years, the NCAA and the Federation will both allow leaping.
And this will be discussed more if you're a slow pitch umpire and attend the slow pitch session. But it's reducing the time frame to 5 seconds to release the next pitch after receiving the ball or after the umpire indicates play ball. So again, reducing from 10 to 5. And there's going to be semantics involved in that, but again, we'll discuss that more in the slow pitch session. And we are adding JO girls to the classifications of slow pitch that start with the 1 ball and 1 strike. That, I think, is it.
Yeah, the last one also includes the JO boys also. So all JO and slow pitch we'll start with a 1-on-1 count now. So that's good.
Brian or Ross, is that for national play or is that for us only?
That is for national play. All the rules that Ross just went through are for national play. We will, unless we have a special rule like we do in JO, then all those rules will take into effect immediately with us also. Like I said, with the exception of the JO time limit that we have in our state bylaws, we will continue with those unless we as the committee, meaning the executive board, rescind those rules and we go with what the national office has. We like our rule that we have right now with the 5 minutes stopping the clock. So we will probably stay with that at this time. Any other questions with any of the rules? As Ross said, the 5-second one we will deal more with in a slow pitch group, but keep this in mind. All it is we're trying to eliminate cat and mouse game. When we go over the slow pitch part, myself and Bob Covert will cover more of that, but it's basically doing the same thing we've been doing. The only thing is we cut down the time from 10 seconds to 5 seconds. Okay. All right, Darren already discussed the sponsorship package. If anybody needs, if you can flip back there for a minute, Ross. If anybody needs the information on the sponsorship package, I do have the package available. I can send that out to you, or you can contact Darren. As he said, the rule books basically were taken care of by donations for this year. Otherwise, we would have been all had our rule books online. As I've seen in some of the chat earlier, we have received, for us that have registered already, the rule books have showed up in the last few days. So that's a good thing for us. Okay. The other thing going on, we also had what we've had for the last 5 or 6 years has been the Umpire Foundation Fund. I just wanted to touch briefly on this. We still have the foundation fund going for the league directors and your district UICs. If you have a new umpire in your area, let us know, and we will try to reach out to them to get them a voucher so they can purchase a shirt, cap, etc. that they need to do to help them get started with in their program. My apologies for not having my video on. Go ahead, Ross. Last year, we had over $1,800 donated to us in regards to the Umpire Foundation Fund. It helped out very much so. With that, you may continue there, Ross.
Hey, Brian, I just want to point out, because we're not meeting in person, if anyone wants to make a donation, the address is there to send a check to the state office. Thank you.
I got a little bit ahead of myself. Basically, what we've done is we've had, with these vouchers, we give them $50 each to supply new umpires with equipment and uniforms. We've also had umpires receive awards from the medals program, and we help pay for some of the registration at the National Umpire School level. So that's what we've been doing with the Umpire Foundation Fund. It's basically was put together as a way to support our new umpires and also to support some of our veteran umpires that get the extra schooling by going to a national school and like that. So it's basically we're giving back from what was so good to us in years past. We're giving back to the program. I believe the next page right there. Last year, you can see it, and I apologize if I missed anybody, but these are our donors that we had from last year, and we thank you for your donations. Okay, this is question 1 for you folks that are on this session right now. As far as seeing it live, you do not have to send this question in to me. This is only the question that needs to be answered by the people that are viewing this on our recorded session that was taken off our website. So go ahead, Ross. We basically, every year we get asked, why should we umpire with USA Softball? And basically part of it is here, I'm not going to read this word for word, but basically it's basically the first part of it is training is the most important part. We as umpires, a lot of us started with the ASA program, even though we've gone on to other programs, including the collegiate level, but all of our start was here with USA Softball. We train everything at the same level, basically, and then we advance you from there. Last week I was in a national school, and it was basically the same thing. We worked on the plate mechanics, the base mechanics to make us all uniform from there. We have a manual that, as it says in here, is the most complete training guide available. A lot of other programs do not have an umpire manual, except for the collegiate level. So what they have, they will basically have, use our manual, such as the Federation and so forth. So this is one of the reasons, a lot of the reasons basically, why we umpire with USA Softball. Go ahead, Ross. We're rewarded for years of service and expertise through our medals program, the National Indicator Fraternity, WBSC certification. For those that are not aware of what that is the, when you get certified with WBSC, which is the World Baseball Softball Congress, it basically is, gives you the chance to work at the international level. Granted, in slow pitch, there's not as many opportunities at the international level, but there are a few, and also in fast pitch, and possibly also getting selected into our National Softball Hall of Fame. No other organization has this very assortment of awards programs for their umpires. When you register with our program, you are covered automatically with insurance. What a lot of people don't realize is that our insurance will also cover you when you work scholastic, middle school, high school, and federation ball, along with collegiate sports or the softball. It does not cover you if you work a competing organization. So just to throw out something, if you work with UTRIP, ISA, NSA, and those programs, it does not cover you with your insurance. You would have to go through your own medical insurance, in which in some cases, if you are working for a company and you're an independent contractor outside of that company, sometimes your insurance will not cover you for some of your expenses. So with this, it helps out with that. Okay. So if there's questions in regards to this part of it, you can contact us, but we'll probably refer you to call Bollinger's. That's our insurance carrier. Go ahead, Ross. And speaking of insurance, the next one that we have is a sports officials insurance. This insurance is for the umpires or who participate as an official in other sports, such as basketball, volleyball, so forth. What this will do, it will help you cover some expenses with that. Also, it goes after your primary insurance. It will cover you there. It also has a situation where we cover up to $200 a week for lost game fees for 26 weeks. If you're interested in this, you may contact myself or contact, there's on our website, if you click on Umpires Insurance, it will give you more information in regards to this insurance. If you want to purchase this insurance, it is not listed under Umpires Insurance. It is listed under equipment. We did that basically for the sake of having everything tied in with PayPal on the same page. So I can tell you, as Rick Havercroft just put in there, it's a great value. I have taken advantage of this a couple of times. I know Laura Jackson from District 11 has, and like that. So it is there. Even if you don't use it, it's only a cost of $28. So for $28, you're covered for the whole year. So, okay. Thanks, Ross. You may proceed. To register with our program, most of you basically know the situation, but you need to go through registerusa.com. If you've been registered since 2015, you have a username, password, and a permanent member ID. And then at that point, what we can do, if you have a question with that, contact Debbie Sherwood. Don, I see we had a question. Jim has a question. Jim, who had the question?
Yeah, that was way back with the pitching rule. I saw the clarification that was sent out, and that looked to be pretty self-explanatory. I just wonder if anybody else read it and had the same understanding as I did.
Where did you receive the clarification from, Jim?
Yeah, it was in the balls and strikes.
Balls and strikes. Okay.
Like
balls and strikes. Yeah.
Monthly clarification from the national office.
Okay. So that would be on the inside pitch, probably that information I sent there.
Probably.
Okay. So yeah, good. That's good information. I try to send that out to the district UIC so they can forward it on to our umpires and go from there. So that's good. Thank you. When registering, you will be required to submit a background check. You will be providing your social security number. They have changed it from your license number, a driver's license number, to social security number. From what we have been told, as soon as you submit your background check, your social security number is destroyed. So they have no record of it at that point. You will be also required to complete the most recent Safe Sports session. And I believe the next slide, we talk about why we want you to be registered with Safe Sport. But anyhow, follow the instructions on Register USA website. Oh, no, actually, I've got Safe Sport farther down. I'm sorry. And we will talk about Safe Sport a little bit farther down. For the next couple slides, we're basically, I'm not going to mention names, but we're going to pull up our national umpires that we had last year. If I remember directly, we had 57 assignments that were issued, and we had 4 that were considered, that got to be a UIC at the national level. One of them is on this call right now for his first time at the national level as a UIC, was Rick Havercroft. Did a fine job with the men's open. And then we also had an umpire that got to work his first national championship and then got to work his second one in the same year due to needing help. And that was Don Slater out of District 7. So congratulations to both of those individuals for getting to take the step for either UICing it their first time or getting to umpire their first time at the national championship. So congratulations to you too. As you can tell with there on the modified was supposed to be in Holland. We did not have the number of teams, but we still consider those people being selected for a national championship. And it was not our fault that they could not attend. So congratulations to all of our umpires that got a chance to work at the national championships. We are looking forward to this year to be able to send just as many, if not more. We do not have any slow pitch national championships in our state this year, but we will have a men's open fast pitch, and I will let Dave Schimpf discuss that a little bit later. So, okay, go ahead, Ross, continue on.
A little bit later is right now.
Speaking of that, Dave, are you ready to speak?
Sure.
Okay, I will turn it over to you then, and Ross and I will take a break.
Okay. Evening, everybody. Just wanted to bring everybody up to date on the JO state tournament first. The date has been changed. We had it in August the last couple years, and that just didn't work out. So along with COVID. And so then the idea of going back to July 4th weekend, which some people have asked about, wasn't feasible only because of the cost, was cost prohibitive because of the weekend being the holiday and things like that. So we went with June 10th through the 12th. I realize that is regional weekend for high school softball. However, this was the best available dates that we had to go with, only because we felt by waiting too much longer, it would not be feasible, and this date will work out. What I've asked the district UICs to do is contact their umpires. I've only had 1 or 2, I think, district UICs that have responded, so I'm still waiting for some more response. But find out from them, your umpires that think they can do this tournament, for one. And the second thing is, even if they get a state regional, maybe we can work around them and get them involved in the state tournament somehow, so they're not forgotten. So we're working on some things like that. It will be held in Mount Pleasant this year again, and we're hoping for a better turnout. And then on July 8th through the 10th, we're gonna be holding another JO tournament in Holland, Michigan. And it's gonna be part of we're gonna call it the double play winner. And so therefore, teams that win the state tournament or finish maybe even runner-up in Mount Pleasant get to play in this tournament, and it allows them to be part of the double play winner and other awards will be given concerning that. So we're working. Speaking of awards, we're working on a different award system to make it maybe a little bit better as far as price. But there's been talk about using a banner also along with trophies. So they have a banner, like a 3x4 foot banner to put on the back of their backstops of their benches and things like that to let everybody know that they've won our tournament. And it also helps us publicize our tournaments in the future, because if they see this banner, they will say, "Oh," and maybe they'll get some comments from teams, and it maybe will help us down the road a bit. So that's where we stand at the moment on that. Any questions at all? Okay. I'm looking at a May 1st deadline for umpires for the state tournament. So district UICs, get your umpires in line and let them know that that's the deadline for that I need. And then I will wait until after May 1st before I contact umpires to let them know that either they've been accepted, or we don't have enough teams, or we're awaiting maybe a later deadline, or whatever it may be. So everybody knows that we're going to have this tournament. You haven't been forgotten just because you haven't been contacted recently, but you are still on the list, and we'll move forward from there. We're also looking at a JO tournament in Frankenmuth for the fall. Now, again, this is in the preliminary stages, but we think having a JO tournament maybe in that section of the state in Frankenmuth, which is pretty family friendly, would be a good idea. So we're working on that also. And I think that's it, unless there are some questions, or unless I missed something, Brian.
Do you want to talk about the Men's Open East on what you guys are doing with that?
Yeah. I guess I'll also cover that while I'm, oh yeah, I see it on the list here. Yes, the Men's Open East. I've been in contact with Jim Petrakis, and he's got I'm going to be working with Jim on his committee, and we've decided to get the Men's Open Fast Pitch in Frankenmuth this year rather than Holland, and we think this will be beneficial because of, again, it's user friendly. It's a place that people haven't been to. Now there's always concern about the cost of rooms and that because of Frankenmuth, but with Saginaw being only like 25 minutes away, Birch Run being very close, and Bridgeport also, there's plenty of rooms available that will be more reasonable in price. So we're looking at that. Darren and myself and Jim will be having a Zoom meeting, I do believe this week sometime. The date hasn't been set, but we're going to be talking about things along this line. We're moving right along. We're trying to get this thing settled as quick as possible so we can get that out there. So we're working on the checks and balances that need to be done through the national office in order to make this happen. And Jim is working on getting sponsorships for the tournament to alleviate some of the cost. I'm working on the room situations, and until we get this back together, I mean, with Darren, myself, and Jim, we'll let you know. But as it stands right now, there's a lot of logistics that we got to follow because it is a national tournament. So once we get everything worked out, we'll be in contact with everybody that is interested and or that's viable according to the state national office. So other than that, we're all set. Any questions concerning that?
I've got a question about the JO tournament, Dave.
Sure.
We've got probably 5 or 6 guys in our district that would be capable of doing this, but they're all high school people. So
Sure.
do you want their name tentatively?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, only because let's just say they don't get a regional, for instance, or let's just say maybe we can squeeze them in on a heavier day when there isn't a regional, like we'll just say Friday. That's a pretty heavy day for umpiring the JO state. So, there's ways we can. It's one of those tournaments we have all the time, and everybody knows it. That we're a little bit more lenient on how many days you must work than a state tournament. So, if we can do our best to get them in, we will.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. And answer your question?
Yeah, I have a question, but I don't want to ask it over the meeting.
This? Sure.
But I'll get with you personally.
Okay, no problem. And that goes for everybody else. If you want to, if you feel more, you'd rather call. My phone number is on the website, so just shoot me a buzz or an email, which is daveumpire@aol.com.
Thanks, David. The only thing I'm going to add to that in regards to the Men's Open East, when we started this year, there was no tournament site for this tournament. Rockford, who has had it for many of the last 4 or 5 years, they basically had other commitments, could not do it. There was nobody else in the Midwest that wanted to take it. And then David, along with Jim Fertrakis, or maybe it was the other way around, Jim with David's help, went forward and pursued this. And then we got a hold of the people in the national office and they said, yes, go for it. I think Frankenmuth, we have a tournament up there every year during the summer. I think it will work out well. It's a fast pitch bed, and I think it will work out good. So David, I appreciate your efforts in stepping forward and helping Jim with this and bringing another national tournament to our program. So thank you very much.
No problem. Looking forward to it.
Yes. Question 2, once again, these are for the people that are watching the recorded session of this general session. You will need to select who was selected for the Bill Humphrey Award of Excellence in 2021. So for the people that are on this call right now, for the people that are on this call right now, watching this live, you do not have to answer this question. So, okay. I'm read a couple of questions in the chat box before I go on to Mr. Covert. I will answer one of the questions. We do not know where a home is for the 50 and over yet. So I would not be surprised if Warren Jones pulls a spot again, like he did last year and has it down in Fort Lauderdale or wherever. So that's the one question I'll answer now. The other one I will answer at a later time. So, okay. Bob, are you still traveling?
I am.
And are you ready to present your slow pitch qualifiers and state tournaments?
I am.
All right, I will turn it over to you.
So good evening, everyone. As Brian has indicated, I am traveling from seeing my mother down in North Carolina, so I apologize for the road noise. But we have some opportunities for you all to umpire this year. Yes, it is in the slow pitch game, but fast pitch umpires, you're umpires nonetheless, right? Come umpire with us. We do have these opportunities available. We have changed slightly this year. We do have 8 qualifiers as opposed to 10. Each of the qualifiers has its own weekend, so there's no double weekends in regards to the qualifiers. There's 2 at the end of April in Holland. There's 2 in May, in mid-May. There is 3 in June, 1 in July for the qualifiers. I have been working on assigning at-large umpires for those. So each tournament should be assigned a minimum of 2 umpires. So that should be a little bit of seed umpiring, if you will, for those district UICs that are hosting those tournaments, in an effort to try to allow those umpires to be called by the neighboring UICs. I have not assigned umpires as at-larges for those that are neighboring, for the neighboring tournaments. So in addition to that, we also have 4 men's state tournaments, starting with the the second weekend in July, which will be the men's 35 and older. Following weekend will be the D. The last weekend in July will be the E, and the first weekend in August will be the men's F. Currently, there are no women's tournaments scheduled, but that's always a possibility. Probably looking at with the men's D, but I'm not sure on that at this time. In addition to that, we also have 2 co-ed state tournaments, which will be mid-August, and those will be at Davison at this time. So those are the opportunities we have available. So listen for requests from your UICs to come help out some of the other tournaments. We'd love to have you out there. Ryan?
All right, thanks, Bob. Continue with safe driving. I'm sure you pulled over on the side of the road when you were talking to us, so thank you so much. Anyhow, if for the umpires that are on here, if let your district UIC know that you're interested in working some of these slow pitch qualifiers and state tournaments. If you need to look for dates, instead of us rattling off the dates on here, you may go onto our website, and the dates are posted on there for that. So, and Bob would be more than willing to try to accommodate you if possible, but we also have to look at the sites that are available and how many umpires we do need. So, okay, thank you, Bob. So also on this is the other question we have for question number 3. This is in regards to the people that are watching the recorded version of this general session. For anybody that's watching the live version, you do not have to answer these questions, and we can move on. So as I mentioned earlier, we were going to talk about safe sport. One of the biggest questions that I get is, why do I have to be safe sport? And part of it is as you can read right on here, it says to umpire in a state, national qualifier, state, national, or international or event must be safe sport trained. This is basically what the national office gave down to us in 2017. We as a state decided to take it one step farther to say that anything for our state tournaments or qualifiers, we needed to be safe sport trained. If you want to flip the next slide over, Ross. It is a protection of our athletes, and it is a federal law mandated by the United States Congress and signed into law under the Sexual Abuse and Safe Sport Authorization Act of 2017. So it's basically not just for our program, the USA softball program. It is supposed to be for all programs that deal with youth athletes especially. So now the next question I get is, all I do is adult slow pitch, and I do it, and I don't have any problems. I don't have any use there. If there is a youth, meaning 17 and under, that plays adult slow pitch or any adult game, they are considered a minor, which now means that you have to be safe sport trained. It also has taken into effect here too. Think about this for a minute. When you go out to a league night, are there kids playing around on the playgrounds? Are there kids playing with their parents or so forth? That is something that we have to look at. This also helps you out as far as dealing with things in your everyday life. A few years back, I was informed that my granddaughter was going to a gymnastics class, that the teacher was telling the parents they had to stay outside of a classroom, and then she was closing the door. So basically, there was no other adult in that room with those kids except for her. Well, needless to say that because of the background that we have with safe sport and knowing what is considered authorized or not, I made a trip to go that night. Well, it was amazing that night that the door was open and there was people inside the room. So apparently the gymnastics instructor had also been informed that they could not have that there. But keep this in mind, you folks, that, you know, we ask you to be safe sport trained. We ask you for this and go with from there. And I believe that whoever put this last message on there, we've dealt with this and we know that. And we apologize for what you had to go through. So this is what we go with from there. So we also had a situation last year that the state of Indiana, they had umpires that were called into the last minute to take to work at the national level. And when they were called into at the last minute, they had not passed their recent courses. So we were not able to use them. So that's why we require our umpires to be taken care of with this before. This is also a selling point going back to our league programs, saying that all our umpires are registered, background checked, and safe sport trained. So, okay. So at this point, Dan, it looks like you have a comment.
Yes, Brian, just so you can add another one. I belong to an organization that runs a youth golf program. Board members who have no contact at all, I mean, they don't even see the kids, are required by the parent organization to take the safe sport. So, you know, it's vital that this happens because there are other organizations where the people actually aren't even involved or physically even see these individuals, and they are required. It's for our protection. So just another one for your notes there.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Brian, Jim Inger had his hand up.
Okay, go ahead, Jim. I didn't see that one. Go ahead, Jim.
That was a long time ago.
Then put your hand down.
Well, I didn't know I could, but I will take care of that right now.
Jim, I think I sent a chat out or a message out to everybody else. I apologize for not having you on the list of the national tournament umpires.
Brian, I didn't work a national tournament last year. I was just pulling Ed Michalski's chain and he decided to take it a step farther.
Aha, okay. Then I thought maybe I messed up my notes. So, okay.
No, you did great.
Okay, thank you.
Steve Allen, did you still have a question?
Yes.
Go ahead,
I talked to a few umpires over in the Gaylord area the other day.
Yes.
And trying to get them to register for the Gaylord League, like I said I was going to.
Right.
Okay. Well, they're umpires they umpire high school games. And they told me they don't have to take safe sport there.
We don't yet for high school, but I'm sure it's going to be coming down the road.
Okay. I didn't know the right answer to give them.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Let's put it that way.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. The other thing with this, as long as you brought up that, the other question I have too is in regards to background checks. With our program, if you've had a background check with your job, if you've had it for high school, those do not count towards the background check that USA Softball does. We do this one nationally. And this is one of the things that you would have the same thing if you went into a job and you told them that you had been background checked by USA Softball, they would still want to do their own background check. So that's what we look at from there. I can tell you that there are other associations that they have to basically for the background check and for the safe sport, it is almost twice as much as what you folks are paying with your registration. So we'll go from there. Okay. Do we have any other questions in regards to tonight's session? I believe the next slide is on questions, if I'm correct.
Yes, sir. We just check the chat real quick. Some various comments there. Tom Newstead reminds us that safe sport is also required for the umpires that participate in that. Just a reminder that if you have not put your name in the chat, please do so before the recording stops so that you can still get credit for the session. Some of you joined late, so you may need to go back to review the beginning of the session. It'll take us a couple days, but that'll be posted to the USA Softball of Michigan website. To find those, go to umpires and to the the clinic and the training for videos.
If your name is in the chat, you will receive credit for this session. If you go back and watch the front part of the videos to catch yourselves up, you do not need to send me a notification that you watched it. Basically, we just want you to be on here and we'll get all the information that we pass forward. So with that being said, I will say that if there's no other questions or comments, I will have the staff go through any closing remarks, and I will wrap it up with a closing remark also. So David, are you able to speak?
Sure.
Anything that you would like to wrap up with?
Well, I'll just say something briefly, and that is, for those of you that were on a softball schedule with me this spring, I am no longer going to be doing softball. I've retired from softball for health reasons, and I will be sending out a notice to everybody, letting them know what's up. So I just had a pacemaker put in, and there's some other things. So I'll send out a memo and go from there. But just in case you're on the schedule and want to know, it wasn't because of you, it was because of me. Okay.
Okay, thank you, David. And for you folks that at the beginning of the session, when we took a moment of silence and wished prayers and thoughts, David was one of them that we were pushing forward also with our prayers and thoughts. So David, just understand that.
Sure, I understand.
Ross, are you anything you would like to wrap up with?
Nothing more. I just thank you for joining us tonight. And Brian will wrap it up with my closing comments there.
Okay. Bob?
Thank you all for joining us tonight. Looking forward to a great 2022 season. Look forward to seeing you out on the diamond.
Okay, thank you. Just before I wrap up, I see there was a comment that came through in regards to the meeting ID and the passcode for the next session. I will get that out to you as soon as I can. We have to go through, I go through either Darren or Ross for this. And I went through Darren this time, and due to Darren's work schedule, it was a little bit later than what I would have liked. But also what I usually do is I send this to the district UICs. If you had to hunt for it, then contact your district UIC to get the information out to you. But also, as soon as we get the information, we will have it posted on our website, also under Umpire training, is where this is put what the other sessions. If you are looking for a previous video session that you want to look at, they are on our website. The website is www.usasoftballmi.org. They are there. Click on Umpires, click on clinic videos, and all the previous sessions are on there at that point. So thank you, John. What I would like to say is thank you once again for everybody being on this call. As Darren opened up the meeting with, our umpires are our program. Our umpires are recognized across the country. They're recognized basically in our state, and a lot of what the teams play for is because of our umpire program. So I thank you for making our program the best in the country. I also would like to take time to say thank you to all of you for taking time away from your busy schedule to be here on a Sunday night. We understand that it's not maybe the best for everybody, but that's why we recorded these sessions so you can watch these sessions at your convenience. But most of all, we appreciate your support of the USA Softball Michigan program. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for attending. If you need anything throughout the season, please get a hold of us. And keep in mind that if you are a slow pitch umpire, we have a special session for you that will be coming up. Also for the fast pitch umpires, we will have a special session. And then for the elite umpires, there is also a special session for them also. So once again, thank you for attending. Have a great season, and we look forward to seeing you on the next call. Take care, everybody.
I take it you want us to stay online, right?
Yes, state staffs, please stay on the line.